Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the German Tier 9 tech tree heavy tank, the E75. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the E75, it was my second ever Tier 9 tech tree tank, I believe. Could have been the T10 or the M46, but I can't remember. The M103 was definitely my first ever Tier 9 tech tree tank. But this was, I believe, my second. And it's a proper old school tank. I've always really enjoyed the E75, and that's because it's got good gun depression on it at 8 degrees, which means you're not that inflexible on a ridgeline. You can use it on most ridgelines, which is nice. It's got pretty good turret armour. It's got the one thing that I love about this vehicle, and that is its big, honking, slapping 128mm gun that's got 490 alpha. You got 246 penetration on the standard round on this 128, and you got 311 pen on the APCR on the 128mm as well. The upper plate armor bounces a hell of a lot off of it. The lower plate does get penned, but it's quite good against some of the tier 7s and tier 8s. But for the most part, obviously, that is the weak spot to shoot. The turret armor bounces quite a bit, and this gun just slaps the rounds out like no tomorrow. It just hits so hard. I absolutely love this tank, always have done, probably always will do. Back in the day when I first got it, it used to be way slower than this as well. They ended up buffing the top speed, and I think the power to weight or something like that, a long time ago, and note that long time ago. And it made it really mobile. It just made the E75 just even better, and I've always loved this thing. It did also get buffed very recently as well, and they buffed the aim time. That's why I'm not going to show it, because this is the only thing that they changed on it, was the aim time. They buffed it from a 2.7 base to a 2.5 second base, which with the build that we actually have on this tank, we've got it down to a 2.3 second aim time, which is really nice for the 128. And you're going to see that in this game. The second game is without that buff, but to be honest, you don't really feel it that much of a difference anyway. If I'm totally honest with you, with a 2.7 down to 2.5, you don't really notice it that much. But yeah. So what do I run in terms of a crew on the old E75? Well, on the E75 I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Trap Mechanic, Rapid Aim. And then in terms of the equipment, the Advanced Loader, the Gun Stabilizer, the Optics. Optics be able to help myself see things, be able to spot for myself. 512 meters view range with the Optics, which is really nice. You get maps like Prokhorovka, Malinovka, you're going to spot for yourself. Gun Stabilizer to knock the accuracy down during rotation and movement, which makes the gun bloom basically non-existent on this vehicle, which is great. It means that you don't have to suffer the aim time too badly with that as well. And the Advanced Loader to make the DPM 10% better. Rapid Aim to make the turret traverse better, because the turret traverse is a little bit slow on this vehicle, so I do want to make that better. The 3 gun perks, yet again, to make this gun as good as humanly possible, because it can be a little bit derpy at times if you don't help it, so you want to help it out if you can. Now, if you take Rapid Aim, it makes your turret traverse up to 26.76 degrees a second, but the whole rotation on this tank, as you're seeing right here, is actually fairly slow as well, so if you wanted to run clutch braking instead, you absolutely could. I mean, we've taken all the gun stabilizer and all the gun perks. We have got the accuracy during movement down to 1.73 and the accuracy during rotation down to 0.89, which again, like seeing with this gun, it's basically not blooming out that much at all, which makes this gun feel absolutely phenomenal when you're trying to get the shots down range, and means that, well, the tank just feels great in terms of its gun performance, and you can just slap out the rounds with this 490 alpha, which is delightful to have on a tier 9 heavy tank. We've got the accuracy down to 0.31 as well, which is fairly accurate for it as well. It still will miss shots, because it can feel like that, and you will notice the difference between firing the AP and the APCR, because the AP round has 920 meters a second shell velocity, with the APCR rounds having 1,150 meters a second shell velocity, which is a little bit faster, so you're going to notice the difference when you switch between those two rounds. But yeah, you've got a 40km/h top speed, and that really does, and you do hit that 40km/h top speed as well. That really does help you shift about on many maps, and it helps you get the damage where it is going. So as you can see on this first replay, we have managed to get 4.5k damage, 128 assistance. There's 2 tanks left. We've basically played the box standard game for an E75, because the E75 has 2 strengths, and that is number 1, side scraping. You can go side scrape quite effectively in a lot of situations in the E75 just because of the boxy nature, just like you could in a A Tiger 2, a King Tiger, you know, all the Tiger 2 variants. They're very, very good at side scraping because of the nature and the angles of the armor, which is really, really nice. Oh, 550. And it's very, very strong at that as well, because you naturally got very good side armor as well. You can side scrape really effectively in the E75, and in brawling city locations like you've just seen on Ruinberg, you can have a really, really good time with it. And also, you're pretty good hull down, because like I say, the turret armor on this tank is really good, and you've got 8 degrees of gun depression, which means you are pretty useful on a ridgeline, and it's pretty damn nice for the E75. So finished that first game with the 4 kills, 5,000 damage, ace tank at the high caliber, the sniper medal, with the 1750 base XP. Really nice game there for the E75 on Ruinberg, just showing off what it can do, where you want to be placing it, where you want to be side scraping, having fun. And this second replay is one that I think I had it on stream quite a while ago, and I just haven't really played the E75 since. And yeah, things get tense in this game. It goes down to the wire. We do have the best matchmaking that you possibly ever... Well, it's not the best matchmaking you're ever possibly going to see, because naturally we could be the only tier 9 in this game. But we're one of 3, and it doesn't happen very often at all, so we are going to make the most of it if we can do that, because that is what we want to be doing. So, what we're going to do in the E75, I was thinking about going to J2, because if I go to J2, then possibly I can shoot down the guys at JK, but I was also thinking maybe I go up the hill, because if I can go to the position at H3, I can get hull down on this little ridge and shoot the guys as they climb up the 4 line from their team. They're 2 very good positions to take on this map. That J2 location is a good one for fighting hull down and fighting up, down the JK towards their base. But also, this position here on the hill at H5 is also a very, very good location in itself, because you can go hull down where the Astron Rex is going, shoot them as they're climbing, and you can fight a good hull down war. But since the Astron Rex is going there, and there's me and this 58 Mutts, I think, you know what? I am very top tier. I'm going to go be that heavy tank. I'm going to go brawl on this ridgeline here, so that I can cause a distraction to the Astron himself, can get some other shots at these people. So as we're pushing over, we see the T-44 aim the shot in and put the shot down range. I say you don't really feel the aim time even too badly, because this one is with the 2.7 second base instead of the 2.5 like you saw in the previous one. But let's say it adds very little difference to the gameplay of the E75, if I'm totally honest. So we go for the lower plate there of the T-28, and we should have gone for the cupola. We should have gone for the cupola. The shot flew directly underneath that T-28. Sad times. We get shot by the 7032 Black. So I'm just looking for the shot into his back end. It sets him on fire. We rolled for 546. Oof. And then set him on fire. This gun is so satisfying to use. I really do love the E75. I always have. It's a joyous tank. But we're going to look for the cupola here on the T-28, because that's always a good weak spot to shoot at. Because you can shoot the lower plate, which is what we went for in the first place. But as you saw with the angle that we were shooting at it, it's a bit more awkward to hit. And yeah, what we're just doing here is we're basically rocking the T-28, because we could just sit and let him face hookers and he's not going to do anything. But we're just rocking him, so it makes it as difficult as possible for him to even be able to find a shot. But this is a position where the E75 is going to be a god, because that guy's not really going to pen us too easily, because he was stock as well. He had the 105, not the 120. And we get rid of that tier 8 American tank destroyer. Now looking for the shot to kill the T-30, because we want to get rid of that big gun. 415! I suppose we're paying for that 546 roll with the fire on the 703 too, but 415. We didn't kill the T-30 like we wanted to. I go for the RBRT to kill the T-30 so that I could ram the Iron Rain. It didn't work, and sadly we don't even get the kill on the T-30. The RBRT ended up putting the shot high into the gun manlet of the T-30, which is of course RNG just going to you pretty much, which happens. RNG. It giveth and it taketh, right? That's what happens. So we see most of their tanks. There's 9 tanks left on the enemy team. They basically all went up the up the 0 line onto the top of the hill. That is not the best flank in the universe to push in World War II, because, well, for either side really, because trying to get out of it is a pain in the ass. Because a lot of the time, as soon as you're trying to push out of that, well, say they're trying to push towards our spawn along the A line. Anyone that sits in positions like where the TD is at D4 farms them as they come off the hill. And yeah, there's many positions where they can get spotted and shot at. So it's a bit awkward for them to come off the hill. It's the one that I never feel like it's worth going to, because especially if I'm on a slower tank like the E75, for example, it's just going to take me forever to get to the top of the hill. We're not really going to find much, and then find that most of the team's died on the other flank. So I go back towards our cap. So I'm going back towards our cap to be safe, because I thought, well, I don't want to go to their cap and then find that none of their team bothered to defend their own cap, and, you know, they all go back to our cap and end up capping, and we just get stuffed because we can't get back to the other side of the map. So we're going back, and we see the ST1 is in our spawn. Unfortunately, they've basically murdered everybody that went to their cap, which means that there's now 4 tanks left on our team with 7 on theirs. The ST1 gets shut down by the 7032 Black. T77 in the middle, and I'm thinking, right, okay, you know what? There's 6 tanks left now. There's a T77 that's spotted in the middle attacking our heavy tank. There was 3 guys in their cap that look like they might be coming down the JK line, or this way in general. So you know what? We're going to go up towards the middle, see if maybe we can cut them off if they do decide to climb the 4-5 line and go up behind our TD at B4. And also, we can get into the middle and start shooting anything like the T77 and get shots into their ass, which would be quite handy as well. But at this point, we have no idea where the rest of their team has gone. And there it is. There's the Mantis. We RBRT the Mantis. It bounces. It's like, okay, sure. The only place I can't pen a Mantis is if I hit the random spots on the turret, which might cause a ricochet. So he manages to get all the shots in. We put a shot into the Mantis' side there. He damages our ammo rack. The Stone Cold comes and puts 2 shots in. It's like, my ammo rack's gone. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ignore this Stone Cold. I'm going to go get rid of the Mantis, because the Mantis could actually clip us out. The Stone Cold is reloading at this point, and like I say, that Mantis could clip us out if he gets around our side again. The Mantis is the danger. I want to get rid of him. I'm pretty sure I'm dead at this point because I don't have an ammo rack. So we get shot into the Mantis. He tracks us only. I really need to get rid of this guy, but I'm thinking at this point I am boned, because the Stone Cold is going to put 2 shots into us. The Mantis is going to get 1 shot in. The Stone Cold can kill us in 2 shots now. The Mantis bounces another shot. He's fired all of them now, so it's not time to focus on the Mantis whatsoever. We bounce the shots from the Stone Cold. Yes, time to get rid of this Mantis. Good night, Mr. Mantis. We ricochet again! No! RNG, why? We really needed that guy to die. Thankfully, our ammo rack's now back, and the Mantis gets shut down by the 7032 Black. We bounced both shots from the Stone Cold, who is firing heat, but because of the angle that we were given towards him, it made our armor pretty thick, and he manages to bounce. Those bounces on that Mantis was just so RNG, it's unbelievable, because I did RBRT it. I should have aimed it. I shouldn't have potato aimed there, because if I'd aimed for the hull and hit the hull, I would have killed it. But since I auto-aimed and it hit the turret armor on the Mantis is poo, really. But it's a T69 turret. It's very similar to the 257 heavy turret in the way that it's not got that much armor on it, but relative for tier, right? It's not got that much armor on it, but it's got lots of different angles on it which can just ricochet shots. Which, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And sadly, we ended up bouncing those 2 shots, and we had a damaged ammo rack for that, which made it very, very awkward. And we didn't manage to get the kill shot into the Mantis. But we did manage to get a shot or 2 into the Stone Cold. We did survive that situation because we kept focusing on the right target at the right time. And that's the key to it all, really, is focusing on the target that needs to go. So I knew that the Stone Cold was reloading. I need to get rid of the Mantis. The moment the Mantis fired all of his shots at me, I knew that I had to focus on the Stone Cold instead, because the Stone Cold would be reloaded first and he would kill us. So now we've got a T77 coming after us, and I'm just going to side scrape against this rock to make it difficult for him to pen us, and therefore he only tracks us and doesn't pen. He's got all of his shots out now. I'm thinking, right, I want to go after this guy. But there we go. The Mutts and the SU both fire at my 7032, which means we can get rid of the T77, which we do. They're still trying to get shots into my Object 7032. The SU-130PM gets shut down by him. Now there's only 1 tank left on the enemy team. It is the Mutts. I do have to be careful, though, because naturally the Mutts could kill me in 1 shot, and I don't want to be too aggressive. He pulls back into a position where I can shoot him through the destructible cover. Just going to make sure that I get this house between me and the Mutts to make sure that he can't shoot at me. Waiting on the reload, and it's like, good night, Mr. Mutts. And that was a satisfying victory, even though obviously we were exceptionally top tier, which is great. It meant that our armor was fantastic. That little situation at the end was a very, very tense moment. We just about focused the right targets to make sure that we survived, and got a little bit lucky that they fluffed their lines. I'm finished with the Ace Tanker, the Confederate, the High Caliber, the Steel Wall, 1780 the base XP. A really great game for the E75, which has been buffed. It's got a 2.5 second aim time, base is at a 2.7, but it doesn't really affect the E75 that much, if we're honest. But yeah, that's the E75, a tank that I have always loved. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
A great success.